All right, Jurassic World Alive 1.8 is on the horizon. Tuesday morning, we are supposed to go under maintenance, and if everything goes according to plan, fingers crossed, we will have 1.8 sometime in 3 hours, 4 hours after we go under maintenance. Now, some of this stuff I've seen when I visited Ludia, gosh, it feels like forever ago now, but when I was there, they were really excited about the big new item, and that is going to be Sanctuaries. I have a non-disclosure agreement, so I'm not really sure what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. I'm pretty much sure I'm not allowed to say anything except for what is in the patch notes that you can find on their website. Put a link in the description below in case you miss anything. But Sanctuaries, basically, they're not gyms. Now, when I was at Ludia, the thing that they stressed to me is the game is like, it's not about fighting, it's about preserving and rescuing. And so I know there's PvP, but if you remember the tutorial for PvP, they actually say that your dinos faint or something. It's not die. How about that? I believe they faint or they get tired, and then you have to bring the new one in whenever the HP runs out. So keep that in mind. But Sanctuaries are not a place to do battle. I know a lot of my Alliance members were asking, is this going to be a situation where I place my creature into a sanctuary and then someone comes along and knocks it right back out? And that is not the case at all. Another part of Sanctuaries that was stressed to me is it is going to be free to play for the Sanctuaries. It's not like the tier boost where there's going to be stuff for sale each week in the store. They wanted to give something for the casual players, and so I think this is a really great feature for 1.8. But what are these sanctuaries? Basically what you're going to do is you're going to place one of your creatures into a sanctuary. Now you're going to have people add in their dinosaurs. The bigger the sanctuary, the more dinosaurs that it can hold. Hybrids are not allowed, if I remember correctly. And when you place your dino in the sanctuary, say your T-Rex, it's going to be there for 48 hours. If there's a tournament coming up that's a non-hybrid tournament and you were really planning on using your T-Rex, you cannot battle with these creatures that are in the sanctuary. You're going to collect DNA. That's the whole point of the sanctuary, is collection of DNA. So many relevant dinosaurs right now are locked behind arena awards. They're locked behind they're locked behind tournament awards. And I'm looking at you, Irritator. I'm looking at you, Baryonyx Gen 2. Just extremely difficult DNA to come by. This is going to give you the opportunity to accrue outside of asking for your alliance to dish you some scraps. So you're going to place your creature, your dinosaur, in the sanctuary, and then you're going to have like food or toys that you're going to interact with these dinosaurs. And you interact with everybody's dinosaurs. The more they get interacted with, the more DNA that you will receive. Then after 48 hours, when the creature comes back to you, you can claim that DNA. Now, from what I remember, you are not locked by your location for sanctuaries. Here I am in the beta. There were like 17 sanctuaries around me. Hope I'm allowed to say that. There were 17 sanctuaries around me. So in theory, what I can do is I can walk out, drop a dino, and tell people in my alliance, hey, come drop your dinos in my sanctuary and let's build this thing up. I don't remember what level cap was on those. It was very difficult to obtain and kind of needed like constant attention in order to reach cap. And I just don't remember what the cap is going to be. Another thing that they wanted to stress to me was that this was going to be something, at least in the initial stages, that was extremely free to play friendly. So much like there are stat boost towers, there are going to be sanctuary towers where you can accumulate toys or food. And so if you've looked at some of their Instagram posts and stuff, you will see they had like a goat and they had the gyrosphere. And those are going to be items that these dinosaurs and sanctuaries can play with. Another thing Sanctuaries is going to do is it's really going to drive home that cooperative team play that I think a lot of people felt like is maybe missing. You know, a little bit of that was alleviated with the Alliance donations, but this is going to be, it's going to take some structuring and some teamwork. Whenever you are on your main menu, I'm not looking at the beta at the moment, so I'm kind of going off of memory here, but when you're looking at your Alliance screen, somewhere on there, it'll show that Poke Fodder has a sanctuary, and then you can go to that sanctuary no matter where you are. If you're in India, if you're in China, if you're in Los Angeles, if you're in Texas, you're still going to be able to put your dinosaurs in to that sanctuary. So it's a good opportunity for alliances to really collab and work together. One other thing that I didn't touch on is every 2 weeks, these sanctuaries are going to be relocated. So if I'm fortunate enough to have one right outside that window right there, 14 days from the time that I first drop the first creature in is how long it'll stay there, and then it's going to move and be relocated. So it's not going to be a situation where somebody just gets extremely lucky and a sanctuary sits outside of their house forever and they just mob in constant flow of DNA. You're actually going to have to get out and explore a little bit, and you're going to have to be within range if you are the one initially setting up the sanctuary. So keep that in mind. Definitely a reason to get out and about. Definitely a reason to do cooperative play. Additionally, for 1.8, they have completely wiped out and restarted the tournament seasons, like not the tournaments that we have on the weekends, but the tournament seasons that you have in Jurassic World Alive. If you do want to become a Patreon, I have a cap that I don't have one around me. I have a cap, see? I have a cap, and I have a Ludia Swell water bottle that I'm going to give away to the Patreons who are number 1 and number 2 in the new tournament, seasonal tournament PvPs. Again, this is not the weekender tournaments. This is the month-long tournaments. Basically, what's going to happen with that is whomever that is a Patreon, and by being a Patreon, you can choose if you want to be in my alliance. If you already like your alliance, you don't have to be in ours. But you have a guaranteed spot in the alliance, and then there are different levels. Make sure you go to Patreon, link in the description below. You finish in the number 1 spot for Patreon members or the number 2 spot, you're gonna get one of these items. First place obviously gets first choice, and second place gets the remainder item. Like with all updates, there are new moves, there are changes to moves. Unfortunately, Magna took a big fat nerf burger as far as HP. And honestly, I'm not even mad about it because Magna was so broken in 1.7. The reason why you don't know it is because Irritator's resources are so difficult to come by. But had you been consistently running into level 28, 555, or 666, basically all those Thors that you hate, if you had run into a Magna with the same everything, same level, same tier boosts, you would realize how broken Magna was. Now this, unfortunately, the big fat HP nerf is going to bring it down to earth a little bit, and it's still an amazing creature. It just probably isn't the single best dinosaur in the game, and honestly, as much as I hate that because I did invest a lot into my Magna, I'm okay with it because if you have a game like this where one figure is so much better than all the rest, it makes for a not fun game. Another major change that came to this game was crit. Previously, crit was 1.5 times damage, and that is going to be reduced down to a 1.25 times damage. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if you've ever survived and had Thor go crit, 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 and just wipe you off the board, I think you'll notice that that 0.25 is actually going to make quite a bit of difference. And then the other big mechanic change is going to be dodge, evasive stance, cloak. You're going to take guaranteed damage every time now. It's going to be, the dodge mechanic will now reduce direct damage by 66.7 instead of 100%. For instance, if you dodge an attack of 3,000 damage, you will still suffer 999 points of damage. Want to see how this one plays out. My initial thought is Erladom is still really good. It just completely changes his role. You cannot open with it anymore. It's going to be kind of a closer. And definitely interested to see. I think Indoraptor is just like, Indoraptor was good because of its dodge. And with that gone, I think Indoraptor's a massive loser for 1.8. Yoshi, I don't think Yoshi's going to get hit as hard by this as Erlodom and Indoraptor, simply because it has two really good distracting moves. But the jury's still out on that, and I took mine up to level 24, and I may be looking to replace it if it can't hold its own anymore. Now, to balance the game, because of the crit change, because of the dodge, the evasive, and the cloak changes, some of these creatures got more attack damage, or they got different moves, or they got more HP, all to kind of balance out what they lost, because as it was told to me, when you take something away, you kind of have to give something else. So it remains to see how all of this plays out. What the new tier lists are going to be. Is Thor still going to be the absolute destroyer that we currently know it? Even though it's a terrible, I don't want to say it's a terrible dino. It's not good whenever matched up against other upper level dinos. Just everybody seems to live on that crit, and so without that crutch gone, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how the meta changes. There's a whole ton of stat rebalances that I'm not going to get into in this one video, because I wouldn't watch that, and I don't expect you guys to watch that either. And then finally, we have new dinosaurs that are coming out, new hybrids, and with those new hybrids, I'm actually going to try to create a video with them as soon as possible. Maybe have those up and ready to go tomorrow. Definitely will have content on those with my account, probably not the beta, depending on what I am able to unlock and what I'm not able to unlock. But I did want to kind of touch on some of this. I know last week, I know. Last week I don't even want to say I was light on the Jurassic World Alive coverage, because it was non-existent. Last week was a big week for the new game that I'm also incorporating into my channel. But there's room for both, and so the content here is not gone. Don't worry. But I think dedicating a week to a new release is completely justified. And then now that 1.8 is here, we're going to go over the release notes that I just did, and then we're going to have really in-depth coverage starting tomorrow, Tuesday, if we do indeed get 1.8. So good to be back. It's good to I've still been playing. I haven't dropped the game just because I haven't been creating content. I'm still doing all my daily missions and everything, so no need to worry there. And let me know in the comments below, which hybrid or which feature are you most interested in, and what do you think of Sanctuaries? I know that the guys at Ludia, the development team, they're extremely excited. And kind of when the Gaming Beaver and I went in to visit the studios, they were like, ooh, we want to show you, we got this great new feature. And so I know that they're really excited. I hope that it is everything that they envisioned. I hope that you guys like it, because as I mentioned earlier, there's so much extremely valuable DNA locked away that you can't get to by farming. And really your only options are to ask your alliance members, or just get lucky on arena incubators. Anyway, soon 1.8 will be out. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I like what I've seen in the beta so far. And yeah, so that's all I've got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time.